A 6-0 sweep with the complimentary plays since Wednesday after two more winners on Friday night. Naturally, as I keep telling you, I can't win a game when I bet on Temple, but with free plays, I can't lose a game involving my alma mater, as I gave you the Owls last night, and they rolled 21-0 at Connecticut, and also gave you a free winner on the Washington Wizards as well. Now, last night, of course, my best bet happened to be the LA Clippers, and they got the job done with an easy win against the Memphis Grizzlies on the road. And guys, as I told you a couple of weeks ago, and as I tell you every single year, no matter the sport or season, the opening 3 weeks or so of play, the only time that we have the advantage over the odds makers, and I've proven it again here so far at the start of this NBA season. I've had 5 NBA best bets, all top-rated 15-dime releases. I've hit 4 out of 5. Listen, another week to go here until we hit that magical 3-week mark. And then you're starting to see, even now, where the lines are starting to get sharper because the odds makers, they're not dumb. Never assume that these guys are stupid. They're learning as we are learning, and they're starting to adjust. But there is still value. There are still bad numbers. There are still teams that are playing underneath their potential or have not reached their potential. So there are still mismatches to be found on the board, and that's where you capitalize, and that's where you make your money. So there's still another week where we have the advantage. But today, of course, it's not about NBA. It's about college football. And as far as I'm concerned, the SEC has been money in the bank for me, and that's where I'm turning today for top-rated 15-dime winner number 12 out of 15 overall. And it's my SEC Game of the Year, part number 3. It's on Alabama and LSU. Now, part number 1 was LSU over Ole Miss 2 Saturdays ago. Part number 2 was Auburn over Ole Miss last Saturday. And part number 3 goes tonight, and you can get it for over half price off. The coupon code is available, like all the others, over on the home page. It matches my Friday night winner, of course, on the Clippers, my Tuesday college football winner, of course, on Western Michigan. And this being Saturday, of course, you can save 24% off your total purchase price by using coupon code 24%, 24PERCENT. It's a mix and match coupon, which means it's good for any combination of handicappers, picks, and or packages. The only stipulation, you got to put everything in your shopping cart at one time to maximize your savings. Among the big plays going today in the hot handicappers, don't forget Brad Wilton, who's on another one of those rolls today, going for winning day number 9 out of 10. 150-dime raised the bar, winner number 4 in a row and 27 out of 36. His 2016 college football blowout of the year. It's one of your late night games. And God, his last 150-dime winner was the Cowboys over the Eagles in overtime last Sunday night. Bigger than his 100-dime winner number 6 in a row on Temple last night. You can get it for over half price off by using coupon code BLOWOUT150. BLOWOUT150. The other big play, or among the big plays to be aware of today, Chuck O'Brien came back to this site last November. Today, first ever 100-dime college football release of his career. It's on Washington State and Arizona as he goes for winning day number 28 out of 40 overall. Hit his first 100-dime NFL play last month when the Broncos beat up Brock Osweiler in his return to Denver. Today, save $60, which means you get it for over half price off by using coupon code FIRST. He has just hit the past 8 days, 7 out of 8 30-dime releases, including 5 straight in college football. Temple last night, Ohio on Thursday, Toledo on Wednesday. Who was it on Utah last Saturday, San Diego State last Friday. Again, another one of the big featured plays. Get them all your discounts, etc., over on the homepage. Let's get to your complimentary plays. Let's work these in reverse chronological order. You know, I always talk about in college football and college basketball, you have to always look at a couple of factors when handicapping games. There's the look ahead, where teams, these are college football and college basketball players, 17 to 22 years old. The look ahead is such a crucial factor. Big games coming up, and you have to have the awareness of the letdown. Teams coming off big wins naturally are going to fall flat so often in the next game out the chute. Well, you have a team here tonight that could possibly be in one of those letdown situations, and that would be the Cowboys of Wyoming. Because not only did they become bowl eligible last week, but they did so by coming up with a monster win against Boise State. Now, they were a 14-point underdog at home last week against Boise, and Boise came into that game in Laramie at 7-0 and undefeated. And the Cowboys trailed in that game twice by 2 touchdowns in the first half. But they came back. They rallied in that game. They put up 489 yards of offense against a pretty good Boise State defense, and they managed to win that game behind the running of Brian Hill, who picked up 146 yards on the ground. And now they take on a Utah State team that has not fared well on the road. In fact, has lost 6 straight Mountain West road games dating back to last year, including both games this year at Colorado State and Boise State. So the price, you look at the game and you say it's a 4.5 price line. And the first thing you have to know or say to yourself, based on what I just told you, is this a trap? And it could very well be. And it's one of the reasons I didn't use this as a best bet, but it's one of the games I really loved on the card today. The answer to that question, is it a trap? I say no. Because I think one of the things that you also have to consider is Wyoming is such a much better team than Utah State. This is just a down year for the Aggies. Their last game, last Friday night, they were home against San Diego State. I mean, the Aztecs came into Logan, Utah, and just smacked them around. They outgained them 414 to 252 in total yards. The Aztecs had the ball for 36 minutes. How? Because they ran the ball relentlessly. 400 total yards rushing in that game. Handed them, Utah State being them, their 4th loss in their last 5 games overall, their 10th point spread loss in their last 13 games online. And they couldn't stop the run, they being Utah State in that game. So how are they going to stop Brian Hill, who's already run for over 1,000 yards and is averaging a little over 5 yards a carry for Wyoming coming into this game? Plus, remember, motivation for Wyoming here is revenge. Because last year they went to Logan and Utah State smacked them around 58 to 27 when Wyoming was a 26-point underdog because they were an injury-riddled crew. So I say that Wyoming gets revenge here tonight, and Wyoming is to play minus the 4.5 points in this contest. Your next complimentary play, I'm going to go with Tulsa minus 8.5 points against East Carolina. The problem with Tulsa is that you always have to be leery of the Golden Hurricane when it comes to their defense because they play no defense. But East Carolina is coming off a 41-3 home win against UConn. Now, you saw how pathetic UConn was last night and getting shut out by Temple, right? This is an East Carolina team that had lost its previous 5 games, allowing at least 31 points in 4 of those losses before beating UConn last week. Now, East Carolina, the Pirates, 0-2 on the conference road. They lost 31-10 at Cincinnati, lost 38-22 at South Florida. Think about South Florida. This is a South Florida team that has a lot of speed, very athletic, can run the ball, can throw the ball. Well, that's exactly the MO that you have the Golden Hurricane here. Tulsa's coming off a huge win against Memphis. Huge because they were a 6-point road underdog last Saturday. They won that game 59-30. Their previous home game, they beat up Tulane 50-27. They've won 5 of their last 6 straight up. They've scored at least 43 points in each of those wins. And they're in big-time revenge because East Carolina has won 6 in a row in this series. Quarterback Dane Evans, he's not a high percentage completion passer for Tulsa, but it gets the job done. Last 2 games, 5 touchdowns, 470 yards, no interceptions, which is the best thing I can say for him. James Flanders has come out and really taken over the lead ball carrying duties for Tulsa here the past couple of weeks. 249 yards on 33 carries against Memphis. Game prior, 22 carries against Tulane, 199 yards in that game. On the season, he's averaging 6.6 yards a carry. So East Carolina 0-3-1 against the spread on the road this season. They're on the road for the 5th time in 8 weeks overall. I'm going to go with Tulsa. Again, this should be a high-scoring game, but I'm willing to give the Golden Hurricane the benefit of the doubt and lay the points with them in this spot. Your final play is going to be Indiana against Rutgers. You know, Rutgers doesn't beat anybody in Big Ten play except Indiana. And that was proven again last year in Bloomington when Indiana managed to blow a 25-point second half lead and lose to the Scarlet Knights, 55-52. Indiana's coming in here on a little bit of a high because they came up with a kind of a unique offensive formation last week and went to a power run game, and it was quite successful against Maryland. And they won that game at home, running for a season-high 414 yards and beating Maryland last week. They had 3 running backs. Well, actually, it was a backup quarterback and 2 running backs. Each of them ran for over 100 yards in that contest. Previous 3 games, they didn't even have 100 total yards in either of that games. But that's the thing with the Hoosiers offense. It's very chameleon-like. They will adapt according to what the defense will give them. Well, the one thing that Maryland gave them was the ability to run against them. They took advantage of it in a 42-36 win. They had 650 total yards in that contest, 414 on the ground. Well, this Rutgers defense is very similar to Maryland. They can't stop anybody on the ground either. They give up 259 rushing yards a game. That's the worst figure in Big Ten conference play. Indiana needs 2 wins in its final 4 games to become bowl eligible. So this is a team that it's 2 road games in conference play, more than respectable. At Ohio State, they were very pesky against the Buckeyes before losing 38-21. They lost 24-14 against Northwestern. You saw Northwestern has won 3 of its last 4 with its lone loss coming against Ohio State, and they were even more pesky in Columbus against the Buckeyes than Indiana was. Rutgers is coming off a 34-32 loss at Minnesota prior to home games. They lost 24-7 at Illinois. That's embarrassing, but even more embarrassing is when you lost 78-0 to Michigan. But then again, when you think about it, you should be hammered by Michigan. Losing to Illinois, a potential game that you might win, and you lost to the Illini, that's really bad. So, again, when you're Indiana and your final 4 games are against Rutgers on the road, against Penn State at home, at Michigan, and then home against Purdue. Well, I see losses against Penn State. I see losses against the Michigan, and I see potential wins against Rutgers today and Purdue in your home finale to get that bowl eligibility. You better win today. So Indiana would be my final free selection minus the points. So Indiana, Tulsa, and Wyoming. I'd say in order, those plays would be actually Wyoming, Tulsa, and Indiana in terms of my favorite selections. That'll do it, guys. I wish you well, and I'll talk to you again Sunday morning when we do this one more time. Good luck, everybody.